Manchester United already getting to work ahead of what is going to be a very busy transfer window in 2024, and I'm going to give you all the latest on that. But we've also got other updates about Ten Hag's future, contradicting reports and comments on Ten Hag, some things that people have said about Ten Hag's management, but also other news. Manchester United could be getting a big boost in the UCL. I don't think it's that deep, but we will get into that story. And Sheikh Jassim, he's real. Jim Ratcliffe did say, does Sheikh Jassim exist? But he's real. People have met him and he's spoken out. So look, do hit that like button. Please do subscribe down below if you're new. Let's get into it. I'm going to get through this bit quickly because I spoke about it in my live last night. But Man United scouts are touring Europe's biggest clubs in an attempt to get a head start over everyone else before the summer transfer window heats up. Jim Ratcliffe, Brailsford, they're sending the scouts out. They're sending a recruitment team out. Bish Bash Boss John Mercer's been sent to Saudi, Barcelona, Madrid. And now he's going to go to Italy and Portugal to try and negotiate sales and build relationships with other sort of CEOs and director of football at big clubs and say, look, these players are up for sale. Now, I've gone through all the reports about players that are up for sale and all the reports that have come from reliable journalists and basically done a summary to give you an indication of who it looks like United are open to selling. Now, remember, when John Murtough went to Saudi, reportedly Varane, Casemiro, Antony and Sancho were named as the players available because they're high-wage players you could pay for, but these are the players reportedly that Manchester United sort of agreed potentially with Ineos of let's try and sell these players because we can get X amount. So Man United believe they could get 30 to 40 million for Mason Greenwood. They're hoping to get over 30 million for Jadon Sancho, and they believe they can get 30 to 40 million for Scott McTominay. And people might say, how is Scott McTominay worth more than Sancho and Greenwood? Because of the off-the-field issues with Sancho and Greenwood sort of lowers down their price and puts Man United in a situation where everybody knows they sort of kind of will probably need to offload them. We're at a bit of a disadvantage there. Plus, Greenwood's got 1 year left on his contract, and Sancho's not been in good form. And while McTominay's not been in great form either, you've got to look at Sancho and Greenwood's wages compared to McTominay. Being realistic, United are looking for 30 to 40 million for all of Sancho, Greenwood, and McTominay. And reportedly, they've been sort of wrote down as sort of 3 players that they believe they can sell that are actually going to bring in funds, because a lot of the players at Manchester United aren't going to bring in funds. Sancho, Greenwood, and McTominay all have good values. They're all, not too old. They're all players that can offer something to a team. We've got a lot of players at Man United that I think are deadwood that are going to be hard to sell. They're also seen as pure FFP profit, 2 of them as well, which obviously gives Ineos the extra incentive. Mejbri is also likely to be listed up for sale. Loan's not gone well at Sevilla, so who knows how much we'll get for him. Eriksen is seen as a player that we can move on, but I doubt we get much money for it. Casemiro, Man United are looking to move him on to Saudi. Maybe they can be 20-30 million there. Wan-Bissaka, United are prepared to listen to offers for. That doesn't necessarily mean Wan-Bissaka will leave. Any player on this list may stay. They also may leave. Just every player on this list, United are willing to listen to offers for and negotiate something. Same with Wan-Bissaka. Antony will leave. But no, Antony will not leave, I don't think. That's what I meant to say. Antony, they'll look to sell him. They'll look to see if anyone buys him. But I think with Antony, I don't think anyone comes in. They put in a bid, especially because he, again's got off-the-field issues. So not only has Antony been poor and not been good enough, but he's got off the field issues, which is going to make him more difficult to sell. Maguire, I think we could get offers for, but it's whether he'll leave or not. Lindelof, I think potentially could be sold, and maybe there could be 15 million there. Pellistri and Ahmed are all likely to potentially be offloaned because Ten Hag's giving them very little minutes and they're on lower wages and they're young talents, so we can get a little bit of money there. And they seem to be players that United are willing to listen to offers for. Brandon Williams and Donny van de Beek, Man United just kind of get rid. There was rumours about Rashford to PSG, but not much in it. So that's sort of an update of where United are at on the sales front. Hopefully Varane isn't released though, because I do think we'd regret this, and Varane still has a lot to offer. But what was I talking about when I said Champions League boost? Now, I don't think it's that deep because I don't think we're going to finish 5th. I think Tottenham will finish 4th, Villa will finish 5th, we'll finish 6th. But it was said this: West Ham winning by 5 goals against Freiburg in the Europa League makes it near certainty that Premier League will get 5 Champions League places. Looks like the Premier League's going to get 5 Champions League places. Villa smashed Ajax 4-0. Liverpool played half their B team and won 6-1, about 11-2 on aggregate. West Ham winning by 5 goals. You look at how, bar Brighton and Manchester United, you look at how the Premier League has just dominated all the other teams in Europe. So if we do finish 5th, we will be in the UCL next season. I don't think we will finish 5th. And I'd like to be in the UCL next season for financial reasons. We can attract better transfers. But if we're in the UCL next season, I don't think we can compete. If we're in the Europa League next season, I think we can win it. And that also gives us a chance to rest and rotate more in the Europa League and give new players a chance to settle in and young players a chance to settle in. So I'm not going to cry if we finish 6th. I'd like us to finish first. I'd like us to, of course I would. I'd like us to be in the Champions League, but realistically, I don't think we're going to finish in the Champions League. And maybe Europa League could be better for us next season where we're at, but obviously Champions League would be better. The more games we win, the higher we finish, the better. But the season's sort of over, but there is still a little bit to play for. Potentially, if we beat Liverpool in the FA Cup, there's a lot to play for as well. And it was said by Lawrence of the Times this, because obviously there's always this rumour of like, we've only seen the same 3 pictures of Sheikh for 2 years. Is he real? There was rumours that people didn't believe he was real. Of course he is real. I don't think you could not be real and be that linked to United and be that involved in a takeover process. We all kind of knew he's real, but it was sort of just a diss on him that we met Sheikh Jassim. He was in New York. He's a lovely guy, a very smart guy. The Qataris were very real. They were very smart guys, very thoughtful. I don't know why they didn't appreciate the value of Manchester United. So Lawton of the Times is saying, look, the Qataris were real. They were real people. They were nice guys. They were interested in United. They were serious about buying United, but they just didn't appreciate the value. They didn't want to pay more than about 5 billion or 6 billion for Manchester United, sort of what's being reported. And Ratcliffe was willing to, over time, eventually pay that, obviously in smaller instalment. Obviously, the Glazers just preferred Ratcliffe's deal because they could stay at the club, potentially make more money out of the club. They could stay at the club while it makes profit, while Ratcliffe pays to do the stadium and everything needs to be done, and then potentially full sale by Ratcliffe will buy them out as well. And we know that the Glazers, even before the takeover, have just been looking at minority sale. Even before they put the club up for sale, like 2020, the Glazers were looking for a minority investment, and I think almost they used the takeover as a way to trick Jim Ratcliffe into giving them the minority investment they always wanted before the takeover. Continuing on into Ten Hag. So it was said by a very credible Dutch source that Erik ten Hag joining Ajax this summer will be impossible. He's enjoying his time at United and improving the club increasingly. Even if he sat, it would be impossible for him to go to Ajax. So no truth in the Ten Hag returning to Ajax stories. But there was a few other reports coming out by Samuel Luckhurst. Yes, take it with a pinch of salt. He said the March internationals are an ideal time for the forward planning of those at Ineos to assess replacements for Ten Hag. But at the same time as Samuel Luckhurst is coming out saying we're looking at Ten Hag replacements, David Ornstein comes out and suggests that there's nothing to suggest that United are looking to replace Ten Hag at the end of the season. I think, Man United will make the decision, have an idea of what they want to do, but Ornstein has got information that suggests that nothing's actually going on right now for United to replace Ten Hag, but Luckhurst says otherwise. But Luckhurst has always been putting out news and sort of news that gets clicks for a while now. So I personally would believe David Ornstein over Luckhurst. I think that Ineos maybe have approached managers if they do plan to sack Ten Hag, but kept it very, very quiet on the down low. But it looks like Ineos haven't really done any approach or made anything happen yet. They're maybe just looking, keeping an eye on the Ten Hag situation, how it folds out. And remember, Ratcliffe said multiple times it's the environment, which is why the managers have failed, and was sympathetic for Ten Hag in that sense. So maybe they're just sort of keeping an eye on and haven't maybe an idea of what manager they go for if Ten Hag is sacked, but maybe they haven't decided they're going to sack Ten Hag yet because they know there's so many problems to fix. In terms of Ten Hag as well, it was said this by Eric Ramsey on Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. He said, and he's obviously left United to go coach in the US, but he said that club is really special. It's a club that hopefully hits the heights that everything says it could and should happen in the coming years, and Ineos can really move it forward. I loved working with Ten Hag. I think he's a phenomenal coach with real conviction as to the way in which he wants the team to play. He did phenomenally well last year, finishing third in the Premier League and winning the Carabao Cup. This year there's been, I think, a lot of extenuating circumstances around the squad in terms of injuries and availabilities, but he spoke very well of Ten Hag, said what he did, and said he's a phenomenal coach. He knows what he's doing, and everyone that's worked with Ten Hag speaks so strongly of him, and what he did at Ajax was incredible, and I thought he really overachieved last season. That I'd like Ten Hag to be given time because I do think there's a really good coach in Ten Hag. I understand the rest defence is poor. We've been very awful this season. The football playing bad this season, but I'd like to see Ten Hag given time. A player that Southgate should have given a bit of time to for me is Kobbie Mainoo, but I'm kind of glad that he's kind of avoiding, first team football, getting a bit more of a break in, even if it's playing against 21s. He picked Jordan Henderson over Kobbie Mainoo. Jordan Henderson has lost 4-0 to Villa, while Kobbie Mainoo was man of the match in the Villa game. But he said this on Kobbie Mainoo Southgate: he's doing brilliantly for a young player. We're never slow to put a young player into the seniors, but he's had only a handful of games, which I don't know if Southgate has 6 fingers on each hand, because he's played 22 games, which is more than a handful of games, and he's getting some fabulous experience at Man United. Looks like a character. He's saying that Mainoo's not played enough or only had a certain amount of games, which I get to an extent. Don't need to rush him in. He's got his whole career ahead of him. But you were playing Calvin Phillips, obviously he's finally dropped Calvin Phillips, but you were playing Calvin Phillips the last 2 years when he had about 3 games in the season. So you have to look at it like that. And going into our final story, a little bit of transfer news. Man United were linked to the 17-year-old wonder kid, Barcelona centre back Kubasi. We were linked to him. I think we all knew that nothing was going to happen. It was just some links because Merth was in Barcelona, so they thought let's link there. Brilliant 17-year-old centre back to United because Barcelona need to sell players and raise money. And look, he's a brilliant centre back. He's a brilliant young centre back. United are interested in him. We've been linked to him, but they're saying he's going to sign a new contract at Barcelona, and a move to Manchester United doesn't seem likely. So that is me trying to sum up all the latest news I can think of around Manchester United that have come out this morning and last night in 10 minutes for you guys. So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new, and we will be live later, or at least with a video as well. See you next time. Bye.